The rich aroma and bold taste of coffee mark a fresh start to the day for many Americans. But quality coffee comes at a price, one that has been noticeably increasing. According to CNNMoney.com, the commodity price of coffee has risen 120% over the past year. This translates to a more than 25% increase in shelf prices for brands like Folgers and Maxwell. Local coffee shops have also been affected. At Small World Coffee in Princeton, New Jersey, customers don't seem to be deterred by the rising prices. They know that the carefully roasted specialty beans used to make their coffee are worth the extra 15 cents. What customers don't know is what has caused their lattes and cappuccinos to become so pricey. As the world's second largest traded commodity, coffee's price depends on several market-level factors. The amount of coffee produced per year drives these market factors, but at the root of coffee production is a more influential factor: climate. The committed roaster of Small World Coffee knows much about the connection between climate and coffee. His name is John March, and his expertise lies in buying and roasting high-quality coffee beans from around the globe. March knows that microclimate is a key factor in shaping the flavor of coffee beans. Each growing region produces unique beans with a characteristic taste.
For example, African coffees tend to be really very acidic and tangy, but thinner in body, kind of watery. And Indonesian coffees are the opposite. They're very heavy, full-bodied, and they don't have a lot of acidity. So it's a perfect complement to each other. And then Central Americans fall in the middle. They're sort of middle of the road.
While different in taste, coffee from all regions has a sensitive growing cycle that requires the temperature, rainfall, and other climate elements to be within a particular range. Recent shifts in global climate and local weather patterns have disrupted the temperature and rainfall received by coffee crops in many regions.
It doesn't take much for it to get affected quickly because coffee needs a dry season and it needs a rainy season. It needs the temperatures to be within a certain range, and so if that doesn't happen, then it's gonna be tough.
Temperatures are projected to increase in almost all of the largest coffee-growing regions, but the consequence of climate-related changes on coffee crop growth differs by region. Some regions will experience lower crop yields or declines in bean quality. Other regions will experience increased need for irrigation. And still, others will struggle with fighting off pests and diseases that thrive in the warmer environment. One of the most threatening pests is the coffee borer beetle. High temperatures and humidity trigger increased infestation by the coffee borer, leading to plant damage and ultimately smaller yields. Coffee rust is another devastating pest that attacks leaves and damages the health of plants. Warmer weather is expected to multiply the damage that coffee rust causes on coffee crops. John March recognizes the threat that changes in climate pose on the health and persistence of coffee crops, especially those that produce the high-quality beans he roasts for Small World Coffee.
As far as climate change goes, it's probably going to affect the specialty coffee first, or those coffees that are more finicky, the high-altitude Arabicas, where they're so dependent on really specific rainfall and temperature.
But March doesn't just see this as a problem for Small World Coffee customers.
It's something like 80% of the coffee produced is basically small family farms. So it's the second most traded commodity in the world. It's huge, 150 million bags of coffee a year, but it's mostly grown in very small backyards, small farms, where the people growing it really depend on that cash for basic, food, clothing, shelter, etc.
The effect of climate change on coffee crops goes beyond the American concern for taste and price. It impacts entire coffee-growing communities. Thankfully, the farmers who grow your coffee beans can be aided through climate policy. Whether you care about climate, people, or just your cup of coffee, your support for government policies that address climate change can make a difference. Next time you sit down to work with your morning cup of coffee, think about how you can let your congressperson know that you are concerned about climate change.